Welcome to our viewers. Thank you for joining us for our webinar, 5 Ways to Drive MSP Business Growth with Cost-Effective Scalable Storage. Joining us today are Michael Stolarczyk, VP Cloud Managed Services, Veristor Systems, and John Tour, CMO of Cloudian. Welcome, Michael and John.
All right. Hey, thanks very much, Laura. And thank you for joining us, Michael. I'm really excited about the topic we have today, which is building for success in cloud services. And I know Veristor has been a leader in this area, and I really look forward to hearing your perspectives on this. So, the purpose of joining together today to talk about this is, this is a really exciting business opportunity. As we look at the growth in cloud services, it creates all kinds of opportunities for service providers. But, what are those opportunities? I mean, to succeed in this business, it's very important to have, differentiated services, a way to set yourself apart. And obviously, you want to have increased revenue and margins. You want to see growth and profitability out of this business. It's not enough, obviously, just to get customers. You want to be able to make money as well. And finally, you want to expand your pie. So everyone's looking for how they can grow their business, not just maintain it. And that's really what's exciting about this is we'll talk about some of the ways that cloud services can be used not only to serve the customers you already have, but also provide new high value added services that would attract new customers, perhaps in new verticals or in different kinds of business segments. So there's a lot of different possibilities here. And what's really interesting about this whole topic is that it's piggybacking on a trend in the industry that is absolutely a juggernaut. The growth in cloud storage services has been phenomenal. It's already exceeding $20 billion in revenue. It'll be a $45 billion market in 2021. 33% annual growth. And I think there's a misperception that this is all being dominated by a few large players. That's not true. This is actually very nicely distributed amongst a host of smaller players as well. So there's lots of opportunities for companies of all sizes to both grow revenue and also make money in cloud services. So we're going to talk about some of the ways that can be done. And the other thing that's driving this is the reason why it creates such opportunities for smaller companies is that the diversity of services that people are looking for is expanding. So you may think, people are focused on a small number of services with a small number of providers. Actually, that's not true. As we go forward in time, the diversity that people are looking for in their service offerings is actually growing. So they're looking for more different ways of getting things done. They're looking for more options for both using the cloud from large providers, smaller providers, and then private clouds, which opens up the possibility of doing managed services as well. The point is that 73% of workloads are going to require some kind of mix of services. So it's not a world by any means where everyone's doing a headlong rush to one kind of solution. It's actually going to be a variety of solutions, and that opens up all kinds of opportunities for people to add value. So with that, I would like to introduce Michael, who's going to tell us a little bit about Veristor. And then after he does a little introduction, we'll have a little conversation and talk about some of the ways that Veristor is building value in their business. So, Michael, I'll turn it over to you to go through your introduction.
Hey, John, thanks very much, and thank you, Laura, as well. And I think it's completely unfair that you had to say Michael Stolarczyk, Veristor, and Cloud Managed Services all in one sentence. It's not very easy to do. So thank you for the intro. So hey, I've been with Veristor for a little over 3 years now. Vice President of Cloud Managed Services, working with a great group of solutions architects, solutions engineers, and pre-sales engineers, along with a very large group of sales folks and also area sales managers. So, it's been quite an interesting run for me. I came from outside of the industry, in logistics and transportation. And coming into cloud managed services, I kind of use the story that I used to move ships, trains, planes, and trucks from point A to point B, and now I'm moving ones and zeros from point A to point B, and it's the same type of challenges, speed, trust, accountability, cybersecurity, track and trace and see where our stuff is, and capacity. And I think partnering with Cloudian has given us a really great business case and business solution to help develop those relationships with our clients. So a little bit about our organization. Go to my next slide here. So Veristor has been around since about 2001, started by the four founders who are still in the business. Our CEO is Ashby Lincoln. A lot of our leadership came out of the EMC world. And in 2001, they really wanted to create an organization that was working on behalf of partners and clients that were looking for storage solutions and cloud solutions soon after that, and that's why they called it Veristor. Veri is the Latin root for truth. And so we really take an agnostic approach to how we partner with our customers. We really go in and listen, learn, and then lean in and figure out what's best for the organization. And so we have solutions that cover the gamut of the private cloud, hybrid, and public cloud scenarios. So the classic storage, classic cloud, and moving into managed services and cybersecurity. And then we also now have an organization that is a wholly owned subsidiary called 4850 Labs, which does DevOps and automation. And then finally, we have Veristor Capital, where we fund and create financial support for organizations to finance their solutions through Veristor Capital. So we really have a broad-based organization. And we definitely are focused in the Southeast when it comes to our integration business. So we have our HQs in Atlanta, Georgia, actually in Duluth, which is a little bit north. And then we also have offices in Charlotte, North Carolina, in Nashville, Tennessee, and in Birmingham, Alabama. And then we are opening an office soon down in Orlando, Florida. But we have international customers. Not only we have customers in the United States, but also in Latin America, Europe, and a few over in the Asian market as well. So for us and for my day-to-day business, we're just trying to create a quality of business life and really ascend to business continuity from the cloud managed services perspective. We want to move away from being reactionary and foundational, where you definitely don't want to respond to a threat and have to make up for lost ground. What you really want to do is put a perimeter down and make sure that you're moving towards a comprehensive and holistic cybersecurity and data resiliency platform, and that's where it comes in with our partners. We started out with Veeam and Commvault and Zerto, and now we're very, very excited about being able to deploy Cloudian in both of our data centers, and really providing us an opportunity to create an alternative to the public cloud or the hyperscalers, where we can come in at a price point and with velocity and with support, with that S3 connector that Cloudian offers us. John, that's kind of a high point and an overview of where we are. I'm not sure if you want me to delve in any further to that, or if there's other things that you'd like me to discuss.
No, that's great. That's really helpful. I think you hit on a couple of really key points. You mentioned, obviously you got a number of great partners that you're using to build these services on, and you're competing successfully in either competing or complementing the services of the hyperscalers. So I think that really is a great foundation. So that's kind of your DNA. So just thinking about your business overall, can you tell us a little bit about are there specific customer groups that you're focused on?
I would say that we have a broad range of customers. They really scale from public institutions like universities, state and local authorities, and municipalities, and then not really a traditional SLED component. We don't have, sled salespeople or things like that, but we have some longstanding relationships from an integration perspective and also a cloud perspective in public institutions. And then, university system and healthcare systems as well, really that are covered up with heavy data requirements. And, so we have relationships in the university systems in Tennessee, North Carolina, South Carolina, and Georgia, and also in Alabama, and really see a lot of opportunity to continue to innovate and work with some of those organizations that are willing to make a commitment long term, to Veristor and partner with us and kind of have a vested collaboration moving forward. We're in manufacturing. In fact, probably the largest segment that we have in cloud managed services are with our manufacturing partners and also with our consumer goods partners. Got to dabble in the sports world as well. We have a nice relationship with the Atlanta Hawks and with the Hornets, and we really enjoy that. And I think we're also moving into the financial world as well, not only with banks and credit unions, but also with some organizations like Verifone and Infor, LexisNexis that are doing providing services and solutions and also doing due diligence and things like that. For a small organization, I mean, our corporate DNA is 4 guys in a garage, but now we've got 125 people across multiple states, and we really try to develop relationships. We really try to develop vested partnership where our customers know that we care about them. Our customers understand that we're listening and not just trying to drive home one particular SKU or one particular brand or one particular box of something. We really are trying to align and attune with our clients' requirements.
That's awesome. So, customer focus is huge, and your range of customers is amazing, right? Going across from public sector, manufacturing, consumer goods. You mentioned banking, financial information, and then of course for a little bit of fun, I imagine you get to go to perhaps a few Atlanta Hawks games or Hornets games at one point or another, perhaps.
Well, we've got a good give and take with those sports teams. So yeah, we do. We get to enjoy the new State Farm Arena. We get to enjoy the SunTrust Stadium with the Braves. We do a little business with them, and then also with the Falcons. So not with the Falcons. We don't have a cloud deal with them, but we do integration. They buy some storage and things with us. So yeah, absolutely, and also Atlanta United. I mean, they won the MLS last year. So, close to home, we're very well connected to those sports teams, and there's a good give and take there.
Well, that's awesome. So you got to have a little bit of fun while you're working too. So, across that range of customers, are there what kinds of specific services are you really known for?
Okay. Well, I would say, we started out with, selling storage. So we're still huge purveyor of HP, HPE, and Dell. We get into Pure and some of the other storage platforms. We do a lot of networking through Aruba and Cisco, and we have a great cybersecurity group now where our partners, we deploy everything from Thycotic and Varonis, to Mimecast and do cybersecurity assessments and things like that through our partners. And then we have our cloud managed services. And as I said at the top, our main partners are that started that was, we started with Veeam and Commvault and kind of moved into Zerto, and now we're bringing Cloudian in as well to really create a very robust solutions platform that can be quickly deployed, gives us entry into new opportunities, and we're building our own cloud, and I think a lot of the MSPs I know for sure they fight they fight separating the marketing from the reality, and a lot of times that starts at the C level, where, you got a CEO or a CTO or a CFO that's sitting there watching the Super Bowl and see an IBM, commercial about let's go to the cloud, and they think it's, one switch and it's easy and it's all taken care of. A lot of those guys are saying we're going to go to the cloud, but they really don't understand that it's, that it's a journey. It's not a destination, and really it's an operating platform, not a destination. And we're doing a real good job of through our partnerships, and especially now that we've got an object store platform, to really kind of create these mini cloud solutions at a price point that can compete with AWS and Azure and Google and some of the other ones. And we're nimble, and we're there to manage it behind the scenes. So really like those type of opportunities. So that's kind of our, that's kind of the breakdown. I mean, I would say that 75% of our annual revenue is, and it's transactional revenue, and about 25% of it is service related, whether it be our backup platforms, our disaster recovery platforms, our data resiliency platforms, and now some of our more broader archiving and cloud platforms that we're offering.
And that percentage of service revenue, I would probably imagine that's growing, huh?
Yeah, it is. I would say that I felt really kind of relieved, and also happy to see that our percentage growth, at least in the 3 years that I've been here, and kind of refreshing our operation, refreshing our focus, and refreshing our partnerships is trending above that 33%. Not quite at 40% yet, but we're above the average there.
That's awesome. So you mentioned some of the ways that you really differentiate your business. You're customer focused, fast deployment, cost effective. Are those the key things you'd say differentiate you, or are there other things you really build that differentiation on?
Well, I think first and foremost, I think I said it at the top. We're building solutions that create peace of mind, business peace of mind within organizations, right? So, I mean, to do that, you've got to have empathy and understanding, and you have to be aligned and attuned. And it's not one thing one platform fits all solutions. And we're very willing to do the extra work, the due diligence, and come up with creative ways of deploying these solutions. And I think it's also speed to market. When we do enjoy a partner that's going to go on that journey with us, it helps for quicker activations. It helps for quicker turnaround times and getting things spun up and ready to go. And then our clients and customers really are appreciative of that. And I think that's why we love to innovate. We love to be on that edge of a little, just like the picture of our Veristor car there at IMSA, Rubbin's racing and being a little bit of squirrely and out of control around the track is exactly how the difference between winning the race and coming in, last. And I think that's what we do. We have the ability to, because we've got great people, we're very careful on who we partner with. So we know the tendencies, we know the extremities and the sensitivities of the platforms that we deploy, and that equates to really good relationships with our customers.
Yeah. So move fast, but do it with expert driving, right? So you have everything under control.
Yeah.
So tell me about
as much control as you can possibly have when you're going that fast.
Right. Well, I mean, that's the thing, is that the world is moving fast. I mean, the cloud has evolved very quickly. We looked at that revenue chart, of the front of this. It's very rare that you see a revenue chart that's got that scale of number. You're talking $20 billion and that scale of growth at the same time. It's very rare you get something that big that's growing that fast. But cloud services absolutely are doing that. So as you grow your cloud services platform, can you talk a little bit about the role of object storage in particular and storage services within that platform? How does that help you, serve your customer better?
Well, I think one of the things that it does is, that native S3 connector, gives us an opportunity to open up new operations and opportunities that pretty much supports any platform. So that flexibility is tantamount to being able to bring in organizations that are evolving themselves, moving from physical infrastructure to virtual infrastructure, moving from really not ever thinking about testing the waters in the cloud to saying that they want to go to Azure or that they want to go to AWS without understanding some of the complexities and the cost impacts of doing that. So we find in literally after we got Cloudian up and running in our 2 DCs and now offering it to our customers, we're getting people signing up left and right, and it's just been very it's been just a positive trend in the type of conversations that we're able to have now because of that price point, because of that speed, and because of the flexibility in being able to connect from multiple platforms. So
right.
And I think also the appliance has simplified our operations as well. It's very simple to get injected and get certified and up to speed on, and so it's made it quick internal to our organization as well.
Yeah, exactly. And I think that's kind of the unsung hero of this whole story is the S3 API and the difference it's made, because now you have a standard. You have something that your customers know how to use. They've got applications that use it. And now you can deploy that in your own infrastructure and provide, a service that's essentially plug and play with the applications that they want to run, right? So it's easy for them to use.
Absolutely.
So I think that's a really key point of this whole thing. Let me just make a couple of comments around the business overall. That's really what Cloudian does, is exactly what you're describing, Michael, which is the S3 compatible storage piece of this. And you mentioned you like the appliance. Well, there's a picture of one right there. And what's really interesting about this whole thing is, if you go back 5 years, there really wasn't a established standard for cloud storage in terms of language. It was just kind of a thing off by itself. But with the S3 API, and I think you mentioned that's a key part of what you're delivering as value, is that interoperable S3 API and the ability to deliver scalable storage and do it at a very cost-effective price point. And it sounds like you got some very storage-intensive customers, don't you? With universities, healthcare, manufacturing, you got some guys that are definitely growing their storage needs. Is that correct?
Oh, absolutely. And I'll tell you that this year the intensity of that and needing to have multiple copies and really starting to look at that. And that's why I use that cybersecurity kind of the data resiliency platform. Is it's becoming more and more of an issue of choice, and the ability to do this quickly and also, again, not to sound like a broken record for many platforms, it's been huge from us. We're almost injecting this Cloudian discussion into every one of our backup, for sure. Every one of our backup cloud managed backup solutions. We're putting a Cloudian option on there.
Do you find that cybersecurity angle is a big selling point versus the hyperscale providers?
Well, yeah, and I think here's the biggest issue, right? There are products out there, and I'm not gonna name them, but there are products out there that'll sure let you send stuff in, to AWS and Azure, but getting it back or failing it back, not so easy. And then the ingress and egress charges, when those things make our punchlines on major TV shows like Silicon Valley and the like, people are really getting hurt by those charges that they just don't anticipate, and then they also don't anticipate that there's nobody else on the other end of the line. if something does go wrong. And so I think that's the best part is, we, for lack of a better term, we can create these cloudlets and these solutions, for our customers, and have the service and the support behind it in our NOC, which is 24/7, 365, and really be able to lend some security to wherever that data resides. And that's the new perimeter. It used to be you don't let somebody inside your wire, and now your perimeter is wherever your IoT device is, and it can be quite a scary thing.
Yeah, well, exactly. So that's where you're going fast, but being under control makes a big difference, right? Because you can tell your customers, hey, we're moving at the speed of business, the speed of the internet, but we're also making sure you're doing it safely, and you're not going to be subject to breaches or security lapses or misconfigured buckets or whatever, because we're here to help. We're not just offering you a platform and telling you to have at it. We're actually part of the solution in the service you're offering. Would that be accurate?
Yeah, absolutely accurate. And I can tell you that we have two major instances now where these are Commvault shops. We're managing their Commvault for them, but now with Cloudian and the S3 connector, we've got a one-to-many platform now that they feel much more comfortable about having some of that data that they have. There are backup requirements, and they have to keep it for 7 years, 10 years, or whatever, and they really like to have that flexibility on the data retention requirements.
Yeah, absolutely, and that's huge. So, in terms of, when it comes to offering S3 compatible storage services, one thing that Cloudian really distinguishes itself on is, you already mentioned the S3 API, but also you got to manage your business. So it's providing a service, and it's also managing your business. And one thing that's built into the Cloudian platform is the tools to do that, right? So it's got the quality of service controls, so you can guarantee SLAs to your customers. It's got multi-tenancy, so you can have multiple customers sharing a single storage environment and still having isolation, right? There's no risk of data being, moved from one domain to another, because it's all broken up into individual buckets. And then finally, billing, the ability to keep track. So, I think all this just speaks to how you manage your business internally, and making sure that as you're serving your customers quickly and under control, you're also keeping your own business under control by managing the back end infrastructure. I hope this stuff is providing value to you in Veristor in terms of managing your cloud services.
It absolutely is, and we've got some great folks on the Cloudian team that are partnered up with us. We have some consistent dialogue with them, not only from the hard engineering and hard science side, but from the commercial side as well. And I think we see that feel that there's an alignment there on how Cloudian manages and leads their business, and how they go to market, and the type of people that they hire. So there's I think there's some shared DNA in our two organizations as well, and I think that's what makes it a successful solution. It's not just the science, but it's the people and process in front of that technology that really make it work. Exactly. That's thank you very much, because that's really what we strive for. The service provider business is our largest part of our business, so we take it as seriously as can be. And I know the team you're working with, and they are two amazing individuals. So I hope that I'm glad to hear you found the same. I think one thing that's really interesting, you mentioned the S3 API up front, and some of the things that it lets you do. And I just want to highlight for our listeners today, some of the different ways that
S3 API can add value. I think people are surprised at how widely it's used by applications that you may already know and love. Obviously data protection is a key because, using an S3 target is built into, Rubrik, Beam, Commvault, Veritas, and that list is expanding. But also, big data. It can be used as a repository for Splunk data, Hadoop data, NAS offload. Many people are surprised that 60% of NAS data is relatively infrequently used, and that 60% can be offloaded to a platform which is going to be a fraction of the cost and done in a way which is completely transparent to users. So you don't have to disrupt your users, you don't have to move anybody's data, you don't have to change anybody's mount points. You can just offload the data, and if it does need to be accessed, it can be transparently moved back to the primary platform by some of these tools. And then there's data snapshotting, which is a feature that Pure is introducing right now on S3. And then file sync and share. So if you want to offer Dropbox as a service, for example, but do it in a secure way in a cloud that you have complete control over, we've got a solution for that as well. And then you also mentioned, some of the customers you're dealing with are perfect for video surveillance. You mentioned universities, manufacturing, big video surveillance users. S3 can be used with companies like Milestone for that business. Or we've got service providers that work with law enforcement, and for those guys, GTAC is a great solution for evidence collection, evidence management, and body cams. So this is just a whole range of stuff that can be deployed, with S3 based services to add value to your customers. And then finally, just to close on the Cloudian, then I want to get some closing thoughts from you, Michael. But the reasons why we really exist and focus on service providers is, one is to deliver the feature set we talked about, the multi-tenancy QoS billing, to provide the option of either deploying on appliances or with software. So if you want to use your own hardware in your data center, that's an option, or you can use pre-configured appliances. Highest S3 API compatibility, that's been a cornerstone of Cloudian since our founding in 2012, is delivering the absolute highest level of compatibility there. And then finally, we're really proud that our customers have recognized us on Gartner Peer Insights, which is kind of like Yelp for IT. People go in and leave their own ratings on your product or service, and Gartner verifies that they're legit, and we're currently running at 4.8 out of 5 stars, and 94% recommend rating. So definitely the highest in our business. So I think that this just speaks to we're dedicated to the business that you're in, Michael. We want to we're doing everything we can to make sure that you're succeeding. Where do you see it going forward? I mean, how do you see this business building out for you? Have you thought about kind of your next steps with storage services?
Well, I think I'm gonna go back. I'm gonna just take us back to that one slide. I mean, for me, in looking into the future, in what we're trying to do as an organization, when you can look at this stack and know that we're like I said, 25 strong, salespeople, with area sales managers on them, and then some senior level guys. They're selling all of these things, and when you're able to say that you've got solutions partners and compatibility, with this broad range of partners. Every one of the ones listed there, other than Milestone, we have partner relationships with. And it is huge, not only for the internal sell to get your commercial people comfortable with selling the Cloudian and getting it in front of the client and having a discussion, but it's tantamount to success for just having the confidence that if you've got an opportunity in one of those stacks and you're talking about it, you've got a chance to really hook up that S3 connector and really open up the opportunity for a lot of flexibility, a lot of growth, and then know that as an organization evolves, that they're not going to have to retool or reconfigure with some other platform. So to me, it's all about the ease of the conversation, not only with the client, but also internal to your organization, to be able to coach up and give your commercial people the confidence when they're in front of five different organizations in one day. They can lean on that combo of knowing that Cloudian and our managed services organization is going to be out there, and it's a great alternative to flip the one switch and go to the cloud, to AWS.
Right, exactly. No, it's all about building a service that adds a lot of value, and that obviously having this range of things you can offer certainly does that, and also doing it in a way which is cost effective and delivers something that the customer can really benefit from. And I think the kind of the untold story here, the kind of the aha is, this is a different class of storage. The invention of S3 compatible storage is another step in the progression of this the storage story. And what it does for service providers is it provides something which is highly scalable, exceptionally cost effective, and very easy to manage. By virtue of the fact that it's so scalable and within a single namespace, operating multiple nodes all as a single system, it stays easy to manage as a system grows. So you can become more profitable, more efficient as you expand over time, and you can maintain a very high level of service to your customers because everything we do is done with parallel processing. So as you expand your environment, it's parallel processing. So your service levels to your customers continues to grow as you expand the environment. So scalable, easy to manage, exceptionally cost effective, and finally, featuring this this S3 API, which is becoming or already is the standard for how cloud storage is run. So, tremendous bucket of capabilities that really adds a lot of possibilities for your business. So with that, any last thoughts, Michael, before we wrap it up?
No, I mean, I really appreciate the opportunity to participate in this, and again, falls in line with the type of relationship that we've developed with Cloudian, and be more than happy to participate in future things like this. So hopefully we might get a couple of questions, and we'll get back to everybody's day. But thank you very much, John and Laura. I appreciate it.
No, thank you, Michael. I really appreciate your time. And with that, we're just going to go ahead and wrap it up. I think we're right at the top of our 45 minutes. So I very much appreciate your time, and thank you folks for listening in today.
Great. That concludes our webinar for today, 5 Ways to Drive MSP Business Growth with Cost-Effective Scalable Storage, featuring Veristor and Cloudian.